I don't usually look this fresh in the morning, but today's your lucky day. This is week number 5 of making YouTube videos. Can you believe that? I can't believe that.
5 weeks?
And that's only part of the quarantine time. How many days has it been? There are parts of me that really love getting dressed up for these videos because it's fun. I don't get to dress up for anything else. And then there are parts of me that are just like, what are we doing here? What is up? Happy Monday. Hello. I hope that you had a glorious weekend and that you stayed safe and that your family is safe, that everybody in your life is safe. I know this is really weird. Yo, thank you guys so much for loving on my music video that I made, Get Gone. It was so fun to make. It was such a good challenge. The budget was $0 and I feel really happy about that, really happy. So what I'm gonna try to do, keyword from here forward, is every other video that I post up on YouTube on this channel, I'm going to do a homemade music video to one of the songs. It's kind of in my archives that I don't really plan on doing anything else with. I want this creativity to keep flowing, especially while nothing else is flowing. For today's video, I was thinking about breaking one of my songs down. I have 5 of my old songs being recorded, and they all come with really cool storyline and a cool background. And for the most part, I mean, everything is everybody's stories are embellished. And if you don't tell embellished stories, then let's do it. I'm excited to share this stuff with you. It's a lot easier to connect with an artist if you understand where a piece is coming from. Doesn't matter what type of art. So the song that I picked out today for us to break down is called The Desert. And I wanted a really heavy bass line for this song, and the way that I envisioned it when I was writing this song was somebody just at the end of everything, dragging their feet, crunching through the desert, last leg. So I kind of put that march in the beginning. It sort of became like this minor chord anthem for somebody on their last leg. To just give the story a visual, I started right off with telling where I was, you know? I was walking around the desert. I was searching for myself, looking for that special kind of cactus that can occupy my mental health. Oh, when I swear. Okay, I'll stop there. I had run away from home. I was in the desert with a very dear friend of mine, and we were not doing well. Our mental health was at its very last chord. The chord was almost worn out and snapped. I walked into one of the small desert canyon made out of flash floods. It's called a wash. We drove into the Mojave, kind of got lost. I took my shoes off and I left everything behind. I didn't want anything with me, just the clothes that I was wearing, and I started walking into this canyon. I feel like I walked for miles and miles and miles, and you know, it was the middle of the day. I started to get really dehydrated. If you've ever spent any time in the desert, you know that the days are really hot and dry and dehydrating, and the nights are freezing cold. You just freeze, and it's windy. It's really harsh environment. I walked into this canyon. I had no intention of turning back around, and as I started to get really dehydrated, I sat down to take a rest, and I'm pretty sure that I had a hallucination. This wild rabbit jumped out into the middle of the wash and just stopped there and stared at me. And it was like we had a telepathic conversation. I wish I was kidding. And he told me, this is why you humans are your biggest downfall. Because you do stuff like this. You're selfish. You worry too much about yourself. You're too insecure. You're not focusing on the right things. You're pulling each other apart. You're being cruel to one another instead of lifting each other up. You're obsessing over all of the wrong things. After that moment, I don't even remember how I got back out of the canyon, but I found a way back, which is really hard to do because there's tons of little lines that go everywhere. So you can go back there, take a right, and then when you come back through, if you don't know where you came from, you're totally lost. It's a maze. And I got back, drank a whole bunch of water, and my perspective had changed. Of course, there was a huge journey that I had to start right then and there. I wasn't gonna be fixed overnight. My mental health wasn't just gonna be poof, like all good again. But I had a purpose that was bigger than me just worrying about myself all the time, what I wasn't good enough at, or what I wanted but I couldn't ever get or attain. There was a bigger purpose. After this revelation, we kept going further to the West Coast. And, it still took me years to figure out, what am I doing? Where can I go? How can I be helpful? How can I live this life to the fullest? But after that experience, I knew that just letting myself go, letting myself get lost, and then never be found again was very obviously not the answer. And that's why this song is so important to me. I was walking around the desert. I was searching for myself, looking for that special kind of cactus that can occupy my mental health. Oh, and I swear, yes, a wild hair. Stop, look me dead in the eye. Yeah, he looked at me to say, hey there, woman, I seen how your kind dies. Now I was barely just 19 and I've been smoking funny weed. Drank cheap whiskey, warm and near. Walked for miles with my bare feet, trying to wrap my head round what he had said, going over it and over it again. Oh, and as he made along his way, I swore I heard him say, you are your greatest downfall. You hold yourselves apart by the mouthful. You've been the greatest empire to ever crumble, and we're all just standing by to watch you tumble. Yeah, you grew too fast, couldn't keep up. We knew this wouldn't last. All blow up, you make it all blow up. And that's where the desert came from. It's such a fun, big challenge for me to share these things. They're really personal stories, and for some reason or other, I got this bug in my genetic system that's telling me to share what I've got and share the stories that I've experienced. I'm gonna follow along with that because I don't think there's any other way. If you're pulled to share, then share. I think it's as simple as that. Next week, I am working on a song called Perfect Day. It is a song I wrote while I was in a really, really sad state last summer, and all I could do was just curl up in a ball and do nothing. Ironically though, it lines up perfectly with the self-quarantining that we're doing. I am so excited to share it with you. You're awesome. Awesome. I will see you guys on here next Monday.